We shall start with Maria from Uganda. Maria.
Hello everyone, good afternoon, good morning to you all. My name is Maria Nabwembo. I've been an intern with Esri Eastern Africa. I'm a recent graduate from DJ University with a bachelor's degree in geomatics engineering, where I'm currently a project lead where I'm making use of GIS to improve access to water and sanitation facilities in the informal settlements of Kampala. This internship has really been insightful to me. I've been able to learn a lot of things. Yeah, it has really been great. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria, for that. Next, let's have Jemima introduce herself.
Good morning to you all. My name is Mogisa Jemima Precious. I'm a graduate from Petroleum University. I'm a recent graduate. I did a bachelor's degree in urban and regional planning. I'm passionate about designing and solving solutions using GIS. I'm an intern. I've been an intern at Esri Eastern Africa, and there are a lot of benefits I've gained, like new design tools that I can be able to incorporate in my career. It has been an interesting journey, which I'm so grateful for. Thank you.
Thank you, Jemima from Uganda, for that. Next, we'll have Lee from Kenya introduce himself.
Good morning, everybody. I hope I'm audible. My name is Lee from Kenya. I'm a former student from JKUAT University, pursuing a degree in computer science, and a passionate believer in Africa's ability to solve her problems. Yeah, so currently I'm involved in GIS, trying to figure out how we can use spatial data and location intelligence to solve the problems affecting us on a day-to-day basis, like climate change, as well as maybe figure out how to streamline implementation of education. And as you can see also, I'm a lover of food. Yeah, this is Lee.
Thank you so much, Lee. Next, we'll move to Boniface from Kenya. Boniface?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Boniface from Kenya. I'm an Attachees at Esri Eastern Africa. I'm a student at Taita Taveta University, and I'm currently in my 4th year undertaking bachelor's degree in geoinformatics. I'm passionate about using GIS and remote sensing, which is currently my space of specialization, to give solutions and come up with sustainable solutions that can be of help can be of help to the society. I'm also looking into putting into practice whatever I've learned and whatever knowledge I've acquired from Esri Eastern Africa, because actually it has been a great experience so far now, such that I've gotten to learn a lot of things and I've gotten to interact with various people. So it's a win-win for me.
Thank you so much, Boniface, for that. Next, we will have Malakai from Tanzania. Malakai, kindly introduce yourself. As Malakai gets ready, we will have Agnes introduce herself.
Good morning. My name is Agnes Wanjira Irimo, an intern at Esri Eastern Africa. I hold a degree in Bachelor of Technology, Surveying Technology. I'm passionate about land survey and the new technology that comes with it, especially drones. And I've really learned a lot in Esri, especially it's opened my eyes in various dimensions of how GIS can be used to solve spatial and unspatial issues. Thank you. Hand it over back to you, Nicole.
Thank you, Agnes, for that. Okay, thank you, Agnes. We will go back to Malachi. I believe he's ready to introduce himself.
Hi, good morning. Are you referring to me?
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Lucas Malachi. I've recently graduated from Mazi University, class of 2021. I like traveling and I'm book enthusiastic. I look forward to specializing in geospatial data science. I've enjoyed my internship here at Esri. I've gained my confidence, establishing important relationship, which will have a lifetime impact in my growth career. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Malachi. We have all gotten a chance to meet the brilliant brains behind the solutions we're about to present to you right now. We have 3 solutions. One is a solution on petroleum distribution in Tanzania. The next solution is a solution in leveraging GIS in banking. Our third presentation is going to be leveraging GIS in education here in Kenya. So the first presentation on petroleum distribution in Tanzania will be done by Maria and Jemima. So Maria and Jemima, kindly share your screen and take us through your solution. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Please help me confirm if you can see our screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yes, good morning once again. My name is Maria Nabwembo. I'm here with my colleague. We are from Uganda and we're here to present a solution whereby we are leveraging GIS in petroleum distribution management. Our case study is Total Energies, Uganda. A brief introduction about petroleum. The petroleum value chain has 3 phases, whereby we have the upstream that deals with the exploration of petroleum right from the wells, and then the midstream that has the transportation of petroleum right from the wells to the refineries, and then we have the downstream that deals with the marketing, distribution, and sale of petroleum products. Today, Total has been the lead in retail marketing, lubricants, and aviation. It is also dedicated to bringing energy from producing regions all the way to consumer hubs. We realize that this can be affected by reliable storage and ongoing activities. So to ensure that they are on course and on schedule in meeting the objectives and set targets of the petroleum distribution chain, we are proposing a solution whereby we are making use of high-level technology that is GIS. And our methodology is data collection. For any solution that can be carried out, data collection has to be done from existing sources and we need to rate out from the field, and then we manage to put data into our GIS Pro, do some little analysis, and then store our data to the database, whereby this data is uploaded to the ArcGIS platform, and one is able to come up with various products like apps, maps, and dashboards that can be used by the executive and knowledge workers. A simple solution architecture that can be used for such a solution, right from data collection, where you can make use of existing shape files. We managed to make use of a tool called capture, where we captured points of existing petrol stations for additional data into our project. We stored the data to the GIS database that was uploaded to the GIS platform, GIS Online, and we managed to make use of various tools to come up with the final product that can be used to monitor or manage the distribution of petroleum. Let me call upon Jemima
Hi.
to check you.
Hi, Maria. Sorry for interrupting. Your audio, is there something you can do about your audio?
Pardon?
Your audio quality is very poor. Is there something you can do about it?
Yeah.
No.
Jemima and Maria.
Yes.
Jemima and Maria, kindly
Yes, please.
check on your audio. You aren't audible. Check on your audio. In the meantime, as they solve the issue on their end, we also have another automation solution which will be done at the end of the presentations. It's an automation workflow where we used GIS to automatically update data from Google Sheets. So that will be presented at the very end of the presentations for the solutions. Maria and Jemima, I believe you have worked on your audio. Are you ready to proceed?
We worked on it. Can you hear us now?
Yes, we can hear you, Maria and Jemima.
Can you hear us?
Yes, Maria and Jemima, we can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear us now?
Maria and Jemima, proceed.
Yes,
Kindly.
can you
We
hear us?
can hear you.
You can hear? Okay, moving on to the solution prototype. We came up with a solution to the problem of solving monitoring of the distribution of petroleum products from the depots to the total stations, whereby we first started with sorting of the data and visualization of it. We started with sorting it in AppPro, where we collected all the data using OSM, the OSM query, which we collected at total stations. We also used quick capture to capture all the data that we needed for the solution. And then moving on, we moved on to how the workflow will be designed. This will be in a way that monitoring will be done from the total station, from the depots to the distribution areas. Those are the total stations where tracking will be done using the workforce and survey 123. Then our final products for this will be maps, then maps, and then also a web map, and then also a dashboard showing the monitoring of how the products are distributed from the depots to the total stations. The benefits of the solution will be to ensure effective and efficient distribution of these products from the total stations to from the depots to the total stations. This will be in form of the apps that we have created, the app that we have created, and also a dashboard, and then the maps which are showing the visualization of the whole process. And then also this will improve on the communication of the stakeholders within the this will improve communication of stakeholders in who work in the petroleum industry. This is between, for example, the distributors, who are the traders, and also the managers in the field. And then another will be to inform decisions between the distributors and the managers. Yes, let me hand it over to Maria to start on. Okay, let's start on with the demonstration. Okay. This is the demonstration we started with. From UpPro, we collected all the data, visualize this here. So AppJS only is able to, you're able to add in different layers that you need. So we added in layers of the total stations, and also we added in a layer for the districts and also the depots within the country. And then for you to be able to know more information about a particular point, or maybe a depot, you just click on here and then it gives you information about it. You can also look like, for example, the status, it shows you the brand, it shows you the name. Then moving on, we also created, we did an analysis. This analysis is basically planning for routes, finding all the best routes that are needed from the depots to the total stations. And then we considered this in terms of the time. We also did an analysis, which is for planning for routes, which is displayed right here. It shows planning routes from the plan. Actually, it is about finding the nearest locations to the depots. We did this with different data and different layers for planning routes and then for finding the nearest. And then we also designed an app. This app is basically to show the direction, to give directions to the workers and also those that are signing. So for you to be able to use this app, we incorporated in our direction widget. The direction widget, you click on it, and then you can search for for where you want to start from. For example, industrial area. You can just type in industrial area. Then you can also, for the second point, you type in the total station you want to go to. Maybe it could be Kajansi, total Kajansi, and then you get direction. This automatically gives you the time taken from the industrial area to Kajansi, and also gives that you know that from
Maria, Maria, just a minute. Just a minute. Kindly work on your audio. We still have an issue with your audio. You're not audible enough. Also, in the meantime, as she works on her audio, kindly drop any questions you have on the chat. Maria, we will pause your presentation there and let the next group present from Kenya. Work on your audio as we give a chance to the next group to take over. So Lee and Nicole, we're going to do the next presentation. Maria, you can stop sharing your screen.
Oh, hi.
Okay.
Hello. I hope that we are audible. My name is Lee and my partner is Nicole. Yeah, so we're going to be taking you through a solution for banking, whereby we are leveraging the use of GIS technology in the banking sector. I hope you can be able to see my screen now. And in case of any audio issues, feel free to communicate. I hope you can be able to see it. Okay, so when it came to making decisions such as how to grow market share, it is often a gamble because some of the decisions that you're supposed to make lack adequate information that will enable you to make the right decision. And sometimes they're even occurring at the nick of time. You have to make decisions on the fly. But over time, we've been able to collect more and more information based on location intelligence as our devices become smarter and smarter. And also become more and more affordable. We are able to better collect location-based data as well as interact with it, gain insights from it, and make predictions. By using the ArcGIS range of tools and platforms, we aim to utilize location intelligence to help you view what is happening around you at a glance, as well as communicate with registered agents and customers easily and intuitively. We are going to break it down further and look at the last 20 years, whereby we've seen a monumental change in most industries, with mobile technology becoming a major disruptor. Services that maybe you had to go to the bank 10 years ago, 20 years ago to access, right now you can be able to have them at the touch of a button. Look at, for instance, the recent account registration, mobile SIM registration. After seeing how ineffective that was to do physically, how expensive also because some were charging us, it has been moved to mobile and you're able to do it at your convenience. That is what is also happening to the banking sector. The bank branches are being replaced by agents who are more nimble, easier to set up, and require less overheads to maintain, control, as well as are less risky. So looking at that, we had our problem statement, and considering the complexity of the problem that we have, we broke it into 3 parts. First of all, we have the lack of an intuitive way for executives to assess location suitability and view existing solutions. How can we enable you to, at an instance, see what is happening around you in your kingdom as a banking heads? How do we enable you to know what is happening in Molo, Nyandarua, Kiambu, all at a glance? And then a lengthy, inaccurate, and redundant agent registration and monitoring system. Here we mostly rely on paper, and as well as maybe we have systems, but they don't collect location data. We don't know where Nicole has set up her shop and what is happening on the ground. So here also we are creating a solution that will enable you to have this information on the real time, as well as respond to challenges and changes that may be happening on the ground without too much confusion. And then thirdly, we had confusion among customers when identifying agents around them and if they offer the services that they need. Yeah, if we go maybe to Google Maps right now, what you're going to find is just maybe the location, as well as opening and closing time. And if you're lucky enough, you're going to have ratings and reviews. But what if we could be able to collect data from the agent themselves and have them tell us what they are offering when they are opening and closing, as well as what services they require, so that you as the executive can be able to tailor your solutions better to suit them, so that you as a customer do not have to go from point to point looking for an agent that is able to serve you or a bank that is able to serve you. So those were the problems that we are aiming to solve, and that guided our solution architecture. So we broke the problem and its constituent parts into and we needed to be able to collect data, process it, extract insights, and also allow for quick and easy presentation at a glance. You have a lot to think about, so why don't we make it as easy as possible for you? So looking at the architecture, here we have, the GIS data. Using that, we order the bank and institution layer. This is the one that's going to contain the locations of where your branches are, maybe where your agents are, and what is going on around them. And then using our online content and services providers such as Attachees Online, as well as Attachees Online portal, we can also extract data that otherwise would be inaccessible or really expensive to get. And then when we get into WebGIS, we are also able to do the analysis based on parameters such as population and infrastructure using the business analyst tool by Attachees, by Esri. This tool allows us to get demographic data such as population, household capacity, buying capacity, income, and all that, so that the next time you're setting up a location, you can be able to predict how much you will be able to earn from that. And then you had survey 1, 2, 3. This one saying agent data collection is in survey 1, 2, 3. We need to communicate with them real time. So we enable you to do that. And then we bring this data into WebGIS so that it can be processed. And then we come to the analysis part of the equation. We have dashboards so that for your next meeting, you can be able to see what is going on easily and intuitively, as well as see customer feedback, potential setup locations, and possible demand. And then also we have the executive analysis. As I've said, using the business analyst tool, we gain more data, richer data than what we had before. So Attachees Insights is a tool that you're going to use to enable you to see this information, as well as see how you can be able to leverage it. And then after that, these were the benefits of our solution. 1, we save operational costs by reducing the number of redundant institutions. We'll demonstrate business analyst later, but what we aim to do here is to maximize coverage with as few institutions as possible, if I can say that. What if your agent, instead of serving 100 people, could serve 2,000 people? That is what we're enabling you to do by using business analysts to select the most optimal location, as well as bring you closer to amenities such as power, roads, and police stations. Then with optimization, we reduce the amount of risk that you take to begin with, allowing you to channel more resources to growth. Have the decisions that you're going to make are no longer going to be based on luck. We have the insights, we have the data, so we equip you with all the information that you're going to need. And then better customer experience. With richer data, customers are better able to identify banks, agents, and ATMs offering their desired services, even when they're unfamiliar with an area. And then also we have faster onboarding. By removing the need for paper and redundant entry, we enable integration of new agents and branches into the system faster and more efficiently. And then easier monitoring. With this solution, we're also better able to monitor what is happening on the ground easily, as well as assess data based on various amounts of time. So in conclusion, as you can see, that image is, can I call it? Yes, a preview of a dashboard. And this is maybe what you can say will be able to gain by incorporating the Attachees ecosystem of tools into your business. With GIS technology now available in mobile phones, it is becoming easier and easier to leverage location intelligence in our businesses. We can be able to better predict where our customers are, what they care about, and how to get them faster, cheaper, and more effectively. Watching changes in need and transaction data across demographics in real time, you can be able to make predictions even before the rest of the world is able to know what is happening and how to solve it. Yes, welcome to World Enriched with GIS. I hope you can still be able to hear me. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, so I'm going to start demonstration of the tools. First of all, we are going to start with the onboarding survey. As you can see, to make it faster as well as save on time, we'd started filling some of the information, but let's zoom in on where we are. Yeah, so it is able to access GPS data, and then the rest of the fields you can be able to fill, such as the services that you offer, GPS data, and then you have first name, last name, phone number, email address, the normal things. But now we also allow you to add what services you're able to offer. Titus looks like a hardworking guy. So we can say he's able to offer all services, including others. And then what time does he open? Let's say he opens at 8 a.m. Sorry. (8 a.m.), yes. And then he closes late into the night. You can be able to change it from the side or also change it in the box itself, 11:43 p.m. And then most frequent transaction type, let's say we've seen that there is a demand for verification of your data. So we can say that we have account verification. We don't want to be robbed anymore. And then most requested and available services. Account registration is there to have that. And then we're able to submit. After this submission has occurred, you can be able to see, sorry, just a minute, let me move the tabs. You can be able to see it in real time. That has just happened right now. So if we refresh this data, we are supposed to see Titus Abdallah has now appeared into our database, and we can also see the location of where he is, as well as all the details that is provided. Yeah. The longest part will be refreshing. Yeah, now you can see Titus Abdallah. Here he is. He's been onboarded onto the KCB system. We can see his location and all the details, all his details, including what services that he offers, as well as what time he runs from. He starts from 8 a.m. and ends at 11 p.m. And then he requests, the most frequent transaction is account verification, and most requested and available service is account registration. So you've been able to see that. But what if you want to gain even more insights on about what is happening on the ground? So here is where we integrate the dashboard. Here you can just look and see what is happening. Again, right now this is what we have, but let us refresh again and see whether it'll appear here. Sorry, my network is lagging a bit, but bear with me and thank you for it. Yes, here he is. And we can also be able to see his details again here. And the dashboard allows you to look at the various aspects at a larger level, all at a glance. Some of the data that we included today was the total number, included in this dashboard is the total number of transactions that have occurred over a given amount of time. Most requested and available service, you can see based on the graph what maybe we need to provide for your users. And then you also have the opening and closing times so that you can see whether you can be able to boost security or maybe your agents are meeting the needs as desired. And then here we have the list of agents. Let's say you want to gain superficial information about them, you can be able to do that. But at the same time, you can also be able to view the total number of agents that work for you. The agent details, this is more information that we've seen from the previous survey. It's condensed here, allowing you to see the same information, but with all the other tools incorporated. And also we have the most frequent transactions. What are people doing most? What do your customers need the most? So we can see that based on the data from the previous few days, account registration is a large one. And maybe deposit and withdrawal, yes. 28.57, 28.57, they are tied. So yeah, maybe the demand is equal. And then after that, you can be able to play with the map a bit and filter your data. Just a minute, let it load. I hope you can be able to see it. Yeah, or interacting with the map, you're able to see the agent details as well as where they are and what they do. The pop-up also shows up on the map so that you don't have to go back to the panels all the time. You can filter based on things such as where the service is being requested most. Just a minute. I hope you can be able to see the change in my data. Okay. And then also you can be able to filter on things such as the dates. This is what has happened over the last month. This is the total number of the total amount transacted over the month of June. But what if we wanted to see what has happened today? How much have they transacted? 14.5 thousand. How many agents have been able to join today? Lee has been joining today. You can see him here. He's been convinced that this is a service to join. We have Titus, he's also joined today. We have Kennedy, we have Eliud, and many more. And then also here you can see the changes in the transactions based on the data that we have. The most frequent transaction has been microloans. And then most requested services have been account registration and also account verification, but this time it's a bit different in the amounts, in the distribution. Yeah, and then we can also see yesterday, it was a better day. The only thing that was experienced maybe was power loss. Sorry, I forgot to mention this, but also you can see the incidences and where they happened. Yesterday, we saw power loss. And where was it happening? Sorry. It was happening to Musaki 0. And yeah, that's the information that we have. Let it load, sorry about that. Yeah. So this dashboard is customizable to be able to view the data at various levels of granularity. Today, yesterday, over the week, over the month, and even over the year. After that, we are going to go into Attachees insights. Sorry, before we go to that, what if you wanted to have your agents update the information on what is going on a daily basis? How can they be able to do that? Let's show you how that happens.
As Lee shows us how that happens, I feel free to drop any questions in the chat, and we'll also have an interactive Q&A session at the end.
Recording in progress.
Lee, you can unmute.
Oh, hi, sorry. I hope you can be able to hear me. Yeah, sorry about that. This is still Lee. Yeah, so I was talking about how we want to raise capabilities on the mobile application. Sometimes you may not be able to access a computer PC, or it could be too expensive for your agent. Using the mobile tools, so we want to drain mobile, you can also be able to do this again and gain information as you require. You can see it's already zoomed in into my location. And then again, I'm going to register. My last name, Gituku. Phone number 0766 345. And then the most frequent transaction type for the day, we've had deposit and withdrawal services. Most requested and available service. I'm not yet able to offer microloans, so I can say that. Incidents report. What has happened today? Someone broke in last night and went with my computer. That's why I have to use this today. And today's transaction amount, 45,000. We can also be able to attach photos so that in case you need to verify that this has happened, you can be able to do that. Yeah. So we take you back to the other application, back to the dashboard, and you'll be able to see that this information has been uploaded and you can now see it again. Yes, I'm focusing on the theft that has occurred. Let's look at it. Okay, and with that, this information is easily integrated into the system. So as I first conclude the demonstration, we're going to move over to Nicole so that she can be able to demonstrate the business part of the equation, whereby we are judging the most efficient place to set up your new agent or even branch. Nicole?
Thank you, Lee, for that presentation. I am going to take you through the business analysis part of the solution. Let me share my screen so that you can see all the steps. I hope everyone can see my screen now. We all know that the banking industry is relatively new in using GIS, and applications on it have not been fully realized. In particular, we know that KCB is investing and making deliberate efforts to digitize the processes and drive the deepening of digital channels to tap into the capabilities that these channels offer in driving efficiency. However, this might be a challenge due to the unavailability of spatial datasets. This is where GIS comes in the ability to provide and measure proximity and location using the datasets available. So we used Attachees Pro to identify our required datasets, where we used demographics on existing banks, roads, utilities to prepare the data frames which we will use to perform the analysis. As you can see on my screen, I have a layer. You can see it's highlighted here in black. I have a layer of Nyandarua County. That was our case study. We identified the existing banks. You can see on the layer the points. These are the existing banks. We can also see the roads, and here on my left-hand side, you can see that the utilities and police stations, which deals with the security part of the analysis. So from this, we enriched the data. Enriching the data means we are able to get population data about the area, about Nyandarua County. that we will use to perform analysis. So from Attachees Pro, we published this into our Attachees Online. Let me open my Attachees Online. We published this into our Attachees Online, and the layer is KCB analysis. So in this layer, we use Attachees Online to perform the analysis, where we used the find locations feature to derive new locations. We used queries to give a layer name and to determine the location of the new agents. So I'm going to show you how the analysis is done on Attachees Online. Here on my analysis tab, you can see there's the find locations option and the derive new locations option. So when you click on the derive new location options, you are able to query your data using your demographics acquired from Attachees Pro to identify the new locations. Once you do that, you have an output and you can give your new layer a new name and publish it so that it's available.
Nicole, you can share your Attachees Online screen. We are seeing your Pro screen.
Let me check on that. Let me share my screen on the Attachees Online. Apologies for that. I hope you can now all see my screen. Yeah, so this is Attachees Online. As I was saying, we published the layer from Attachees Pro that contains all the data that we will use to perform the analysis. So I will show you a short tutorial on how we performed the analysis. On this tab, on the analysis tab, we have the find locations option and we have the derive new locations options. So in the derive new locations options, you are able to query your data using the various demographics to be able to identify the location of your new agents. As you can see on my map, these are the locations of the previous agents. And when we queried our data, we were able to get the location of new potential agents. I am going to zoom to that layer to be able to show you what our results were. So on my screen, you can see the new locations. On the new locations layer, the symbols in blue indicate the results of the analysis that we performed. So from this, we published this layer and we used the Attachees Business Analyst tool to perform suitability analysis to determine how well these new agents are going to perform in terms of the population around them. So when we head over to the Attachees Business Analyst, we use mainly the population criteria to determine how well they're suitable for that area. On my map, you can see the agents numbered from 1 to 4. If I click on number 1, we can be able to identify the attributes of that particular agent. We can also be able to run infographics of that agent. I am going to show you the infographics. So from the infographics, we can identify the total population of that particular agent location, the purchasing power index, and the total number of households. So from that, I am going to hand over to Lee to finish the presentation.
Thank you, Nicole, for that. I hope you can be able to see my screen once again. Yeah, so you've gotten the data from business analyst, maybe also from Pro, and that had been collected from the surveys, OSM querying, and all that. So we bring you back to a new application. This is Attachees Insights. What is Attachees Insights supposed to do? It's supposed to help you integrate all this information together and gain insights as soon as possible with as little hassle as possible. You're busy, you need to save time. Yeah, so here we can see such as the services that the users have been able to offer, as well as most requested and available services. Distribution of the banks by names. This was extracted by the OSM query from Attachees Pro. And then as well as that, you can see incidences observed, a graph for the opening and closing times. How does this affect business? The incidences reported, as well as the new proposed locations. Where can you put the new locations without having to go back to business analyst or Pro? Yeah, all this is put in this application and it is highly customizable, allowing you to drop and drag parts of it and even remove what you feel you don't need at the moment. After that, now we come back to the customer. We've gotten all the data. Now we need to enable the customer to make decisions on what is best for them. So this is an application, an instant application built using the Attachees platform, no code. You can be able to just drag and drop features and customize it as you will. So we have a radius of 150. Okay. Yeah, that's a bit too big. Let's narrow down a bit. And you can see what services are offered there. And then you can also be able to filter based on, let's say you want to have account registration. And then you can see these are the agents that are able to offer that as a service. Other than that, you can also be able to choose the directions to the place so that now it is as easy as possible, even if you are new to the area and don't know how to get there. You can be able to do it based on driving, walking, whatever method that you're going to use. We have the guide for you and we'll be able to lead you where you need to be. Yeah, this application is also available on mobile, easily installable, but for the interest of time, since the functionality is still the same as what I'm demonstrating here, I think we are going to close our presentation. Yeah, thank you. Welcome to GIS Banking, the future that awaits.
Thank you, Lee, for that presentation. In case you have any questions, we have a Q&A session at the end. You can also drop your questions in the chat. Moving over to the next presentation, we will have Boniface, Agnes, and Malachi present their solution in the education sector where they used CBC as a case study. Boniface, Malachi, and Agnes, you can take over.
Hello, everyone. Hope I'm audible. Just a moment as I share my screen.
Before Boniface and Malachi and Agnes present, in case you have any questions, you can raise your hand so that Lee and I can answer them. You can also type your questions in the chat. If you have any questions, raise your hand so that we can give you an opportunity to ask your question. So moving on, seems there's no question. In case a question comes up, you can type in the chat or you can raise your hand at the end of the presentation. We will get back to you. Boniface and Malakai and Agnes, you can continue with your presentation. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Nicole. I hope you can all see my screen. So we were handling a solution for the education sector, whereby our case study was to focus on the current CBC system that was introduced in 2017. So as you all know, Kenya, we have been adopting the 844 since 1985, but due to some issues that arose whereby people actually started seeing that the 844 was an intelligence-based system. So they sought for a CBC system, a competency-based system that will support the student in whatever he or she is good at, right from the grassroots level or through the performance records that the student has. Yeah, the student has been. Oh, sorry for that. So I'll take you through the introduction on the new system. So the new system, the CBC system adopts a 2663 curriculum, whereby there are 2 years of pre-primary education, 6 years of primary education, which involves 3 years of lower primary and 3 years of upper primary. Then we have the 6 years of secondary education, involving still the same of a junior secondary for 3 years and senior secondary for also 3 years. Then the student can now progress to the higher learning, for the remaining 3 years. So as I say, this CBC is mostly measuring on the student's potential and what the student is good at. So at junior secondary school level, the student is introduced to a broad-based curriculum whereby he or she is evaluated and tested or evaluated on whatever he or she is good at through the various subjects that are there, which are obviously 12 subjects that are 12 subjects that are which are 12 subjects that are mandatory to take, and some optional subject whereby the student is required to take at least a minimum of 1 subject as an optional subject to add to the already 12. So at the senior secondary school, once the student has completed the junior secondary school, after being evaluated and after the junior secondary school, when the student has already been evaluated, now comes the senior secondary school, whereby there are 3 different channels the student can major in. Let's say the first one being art and sports science pathway, the second one being the social science pathway, and the third one being science, technology, engineering, and mathematical pathway. So in our case, we decided to focus on the art and sports science pathway. Hereby we now narrow down to the marathon sport as our main area of focus, so that we can provide a solution to that pathway. So I'll now take you to the background of our solution. So now that the CBC was adopted in 2017, there have been many challenges and maybe issues that are arising, whereby head teachers are complaining that they were not introduced to the system prior to it being adopted. And also there are transition problems being encountered whereby there's transition problems also being encountered, and also there are issues of data entry, like the one that we saw some time back, whereby people are registering false schools. So with this, with GIS, we can be able to solve these issues, adopting the location-based intelligence, let's say mapping the schools, and also giving insights or giving solutions with the available technology in the GIS sector. So our main objective of the solution was coming up with a solution for the education sector through a solution for the sporting sector through the available art and sports channel in the CBC sector, but we will evaluate this based on the competency-based assessment that is there under the new curriculum that holds the record on student performances. So our specific objective were to create apps, data collection apps, creating web maps to visualize the data, and also identification of suitable schools, let's say to adopt various channels at the senior secondary level through analysis like suitability analysis. We are also to create web apps that will be used by the public as informatory tools for location-based awareness on the schools. And also we are to create dashboards for visualization of our data. Then we were also to create an intelligence-based link chat that will assist the ministry or assist the ministry in placement of students. Let's say this student was good at this, then it is evaluated that, yeah, he can do this or that, yeah. We are also to create a portal that will contain everything for the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Sports. So our solution architecture is as shown here, whereby we were to create a database that was to contain all our data, then host it on an online platform, let's say the portal, whereby now the analysis could be done, let's say data analysis like the suitability analysis, and also the crowdsourcing of the data, let's say schools being registered and updating such a stuff on the web portal. Then we were to launch our solutions on desktop platforms on the web and devices like the apps that we are to come up with. Then with this information on the desktop web and services and devices, we are now to inform and give our findings to the two concerned ministries, the Ministry of Education and Sports. So the benefits of our solution is that it will act as an advisory tool, whereby it will help in advising the ministry to propose various schools to take different channels based on the criteria specifications they meet and potentials they have in, let's say, if there's arts and sports, such. And also talents will be nurtured, and also there'll be informed decision making. So on the conclusion here is that ArcGIS shall be used in decision making. Now I'll take you to the web map that we created with our data that we had collected to start off our solution. So here is a map showing the various schools in Kenya. If we zoom in at county level, we can now see various schools. Let's say I want to query a single school and know about it. So I'll just query on one. No, it is a Lukile Primary, yeah. Then we narrowed down to the schools in Elgeyo Marakwet County, whereby we wanted our case study area was Elgeyo Marakwet County. So we narrowed down to the schools in Elgeyo Marakwet County, on which in our case we selected only the secondary schools because it's what we were focusing on at the moment. So if I query a single school here, I'll see Lenan County, yeah, it's in Elgeyo Marakwet. Yeah, so that is our map of the schools in Elgeyo Marakwet County. Then, okay. Oh, just a moment, sorry. Just a moment. Oh, sorry for that.
I hope we are all following on well with Boniface and his team's presentation. If you have any questions, you can type them on the chat. As we wait for Boniface to share his screen. I guess we don't have any questions. Godfrey, you asked a question. I hope I have answered it to your satisfaction.
Okay, sorry for that technical issue. Okay, I'm sorry for that technical issue. Now after narrowing down to our schools in Elgeyo Marakwet County, we performed a suitability analysis to predict the schools that were suitable for adopting the art and sports channel that would nurture the talent in the marathon sport. So our suitability analysis criteria that we used to come up with this was those schools that are at a high elevation of 2,400 meters and above, the schools that have unavailable land for expansion or for putting up of facilities that will support the sport, and also schools that can be easily accessed through roads. So if I zoom into, so as you see, the most favorable schools are the ones that are in dark red. That is our finding for the most favorable schools that we could propose to take the marathon sport or to take learners to the marathon sport. Then the rest, the one in red, the least favorable, and the one in white are the ones that are not favorable to support the sport. Okay, I'm actually sorry for that technical, there was a technical issue. So then after proposing our schools, now, let's now place our students to the schools that we have proposed for the marathon sport. So what we did to propose that, we collected data using the survey 123 form that we had created. This is an app that, let's say, collect the student performance data. So we collected data with the form. So let's say, So let's say I'm the head teacher mandated with the task of data entry for the student performances. What I'll do, just download this app, then I can fill in the details of the student. Let's say the student performance in various subjects. This subject, the student did this. This subject, the student did this. Then the data collected is published to us. Yeah, hello, Evelyn.
Just share your survey 1 to 3 screen.
Sorry. So here is my app that teachers can use to enter for data entry of the student performances. So let's say I have my student name as Mark. My student name as Mark, the student ID as AB54KK, the student code as that, the school code of the student that the student is in. Then I select the junior level, and then I select one optional subject. So can select the student performance in each subject. Fair. Good. Then I just note the date the data was taken, then I can publish my survey. So send now. So this survey, this published information will be collected and hosted on an online feature service that will actually aid in visualization. So let's say I've already collected my survey, so I can open it. I can open it in ArcGIS Pro, whereby I had linked my online content there so that I can see how it has been updated. So here is my form that I'd linked to this is my online content that I'd linked. Open the attributes table to see the student data collected. So here is my student Mark and the performance in each subject that I inputted as the head teacher. So after doing that data collection of the student, now I can predict, or I can use this link chart tool in ArcGIS Pro Intelligence to predict how good the student has been performing, so that I can see, if the student is fit for the art and sports channel. So let's say the student is good in art and sports. If he's good in the 2 subjects that I used to create this intelligence tool, is the student being good in health education and pre-career education. So if the student is good in health education and pre-career, and if the student is fair in health education and pre-career, can do the art and sports channel. So I'll now take you through the next survey app, the next data collection app. The next data collection app, which is for school registry and update form. So this one now registers new schools, is used by the head teachers to register new schools and update the already existing schools. So let's say a school is already existing. I'll just type and it will regenerate and update the data that you want to update on the school. So if it's not existing, you can just input the name of the code of the school and start registering the school afresh, since it is not recognized. So I guess that's on my part. I'll now let my colleague Malachi take you through the web apps created and the dashboards that we came up with.
Hi everyone, my name is Malaki Lucas, and just a moment when I share my screen.
Malakai, kindly take us
Yes.
through the part of your presentation.
Yeah, the first thing we are, because this web application for the Ministry of Education.
Malakai,
And
unmute your mic.
okay, this is a web application for the School for Ministry of Education. The first thing, because we have to map to have a database of existing school in all Kenya, the primary and the secondary level. And as you can see in our web application, with several widgets, I mean, with the first widget, we have information about, okay, this is give you information about this web application is all about. This map shows distribution of primary and secondary school in Kenya count. There are more than 37,000 schools in Kenya, out of which 64.8 are public and 13 are private, while 22 were not identified whether private or public. This data were acquired from Kenya Ministry of Education in 2016. Also, we have an infographic widget. It's loading. Yeah. The infographic show the statistic of the schools. I need to take a long time to load. The total number of schools in each count in the whole country. Also, the widget here you can select some school and export them. Also, there are a widget for see the school which are nearby you within a 5-kilometer radius. Yeah, you can search you can put your location and give you the school which are nearby you within a radius of 5 miles. So from this web application, where we have the link which we direct you to the dashboard, but I will open the dashboard out here. As you can see, this is a dashboard, the heading primary and secondary school in Kenya. When you zoom the map here, the first tab here shows the number of schools in each county and their distribution, the status, whether public or private owned. There are total numbers of schools and the names. So if you want to know the number of school in, let's say in Kitui County, yeah, it gives you the total number of schools, whether, I mean, this lady here show the secondary and the green, the primary. Also, we have a web application for the Ministry of Education, because our specific objective was to direct the student in marathon. We also we see that necessary for the Ministry of Sport to be involved. So the first task was we map all sports facility available in Kenya. As you can see, and this is a web application for all the sports facility. This data were acquired from Esri, Open State Map in 2022. Because we never visit all the stadium, we see the necessary to us to make inspection of the stadium to see their condition and if there are necessary improvement to be made. So there's a survey form. There's a survey form here to inspect the condition of stadium. You enter the name of stadium, the sport registration, registration number, and which is the complex support, whether it's marathon or football or basket, and who owns the complex, the local government or means of sport or the private. So if there's the question here, whether are all facility in good condition? If no, you say which facility and bad condition, whether it's track or basket or pitch. And then you put the location here and map. Submitting there's dashboard here. This dashboard show the number of all stadium which have been inspected and who owns them and which facility and bad condition and the total number of recorded stadium. The first budget here show the status, whether a private or public sports facility and which facility and bad condition, either track for marathon or basketball ground or pitch for football, and the total number of recorded stadium. Also, we have another survey form, as you can see from our workflow. At the end, we need, after all the process have been taken through the means of education, the student has been directed when you take to the path of a sport, as to decide where is accept the path or no. If no, it will the data will be taken to means of education and using the JS intelligence, it can be allocated another path. So this is the form. A student needs its identification number and the information of the name, the school which have been selected pathway, the science, and the startup here, whether it's private or. If you say yes, the congratulations is successful. But if you say no, you'll be directed to choose which path you would like to take, whether it's marathon or football or basket. And this information will be taken directly to the Ministry of Education Hub and later on to the JS Intelligence, and you'll be redirected to another path. That's the end of my presentation. I'll hand the mic to Agnes to take through the hub site. To you, Agnes.
Thank you, Malakai. So I'll be taking you all through the hub sites. As a team, we saw that the Ministry of Education would use this app that is provided by Esri in Attachees to enable them to, because they have many websites, it would allow them to incorporate so many websites and they'd be able to communicate in their various departments easily. So as you can see, there's a Ministry of Education web homepage, and we see there's the About page. Also the administration page, the scholarship offered page, and the various applications which Attachees, the Attachees portal has, that the various that the ministry has maybe come up with. For example, now the various dashboards that we've come up with, the web map, and also the maps themselves. So as you can see, and you decide on the colors which you want, and you just make it quite interactive, as you can also put a form in case there are any queries from the audience. And you can also decide, do you want to only communicate with the head teachers? You can make like a group amongst the people involved in the ministry. So yeah, you can just scroll down so that they can see the various applications that we came up with, that Boniface and Malachi maybe discussed earlier. So the hub site is really just great because it allows you to show what you've been doing using the other web apps. And okay, let this page just load. Yeah, so it was, I think it's displaying the web app that we came up with. And depending on your audience, they can just visualize everything that you've done. And when we go back to our homepage, when you scroll down in the CBC system, the kids, whenever a kid enters the CBC system, they're allocated a NEMIS number. And we saw that the ministry already has an existing NEMIS portal, which has existing data of the various schools and the various students that are in each of the schools. So we decided to use the app of Experience Builder to come up with a sample of the NEMIS, which you can click just there on the ministry portal. And when you log into the NEMIS page, you can see the NEMIS page. When you just scroll down, and then when you log in, now I saw Anne's question about the survey forms. So when you log in as a head teacher, when you put your username and password, you're able to log into the various survey forms. As you can see, there's a CBC school data information form. There's also the Ministry of Sports. As you saw, we were incorporating the Ministry of Sports and Education to create a relationship of our kids who are marathon runners. So you can see the various forms that you just click on them and they direct you. If you're a head teacher or a teacher, you're able to fill in the data of your child. And using the hub site and the experience builder, it's a very useful tool. And yeah, it's able to link you to the other pages. So I believe it would be very useful in the Ministry of Education to so that they are able to manage their resources, because every data will be linked and you'll have a visual interpretation of everything that you're inputting. Yeah. And with that, I'd like to hand it back to Boniface to finish for us. Thank you. Oh, sorry, I've not talked about the Ministry of Sports. This is our hub site for the Ministry of Sports and Culture. So there is the About Us. We have our Kipchoge there. Also about the objectives of the ministry, the functions, And then we also have about us a little small something about the cabinet secretary. Amina, and the contact information of where you can reach them. And it doesn't just limit you to this, it can do so much more for the ministries, not only education and sports, but all of them, as it allows you to link all your applications and just to give you a lovely visual interpretation. And then finally, our dashboards, you know, color. With us girls, we love color. So it's good to ensure that also the user is quite entertained with the color and is like, wow, this is lovely. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. And I can hand it over to Boniface. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Agnes, and your team for your presentation. That was quite an interesting one. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them now. You can raise your hand, and you can also type it in the comments. Any questions? Thank you so much to everyone who has asked a question. I hope we have given you satisfactory answers. Thank you for your feedback on the comments as well. Seems there is no question. We are going to move on to the next presentation. From our team in Uganda, Maria and Jemima, they'll be presenting their solution on petroleum distribution. Maria and Jemima.
Yes, we apologize for the interruption. Let's begin sharing the screen. Can you hear? Can you hear us now? Maybe to confirm, can you hear us?
Maria and Jemima, you can be a bit louder.
Okay, can you hear us now?
Yes.
Okay, we are going to begin with the presentation.
Maria and Jemima, try to be loud throughout your presentation, and also in the interest of time, kindly keep it short.
Okay. Our solution is our case study area is total energies. A brief introduction about petroleum. It has got three major phases, whereby we have the
Excuse me, Maria and Jemima.
Yes.
I hope you're wearing headphones or headsets. And also try speaking into the mic so that we can hear you and be audible. Also, to everyone attending the webinar, kindly bear with us. Be patient. We are about to end our presentations. Thank you.
Can you hear us now?
Much better,
Yes.
Jemima. I hope you're using the headsets.
Yes, we are using headsets.
Yes, you are very clear now. Proceed.
Okay, a brief introduction about petroleum. It has got three major phases, where we have the upstream that involves the exploration of petroleum in the wells, and then the midstream that involves the transportation of petroleum right from the well to the refineries. And then we have the downstream, which involves the marketing, sale, and distribution of petroleum products. Well, our focus is mainly on the downstream. Today, Total Energies is the leading retail marketing body around, and we realized that we can help in solving the problem of problem of petroleum distribution management, whereby there are inefficient and effective communication methods between the managers, the transporters, the drivers, and the executives. And there are also limited monitoring techniques on the distribution of petroleum products. So we come in to propose a solution whereby we are leveraging ArcGIS to monitor and manage the distribution of petroleum. Our methodology is mainly data collection from already existing data sources. And then we're going to make use of ArcGIS desktop, do analysis, and then upload our data to the database, where we shall make use of the data in ArcGIS online and come up with specific products that are maps, apps, and dashboards. Our solution for this particular solution is we are making use of existing shape files, and then we're making use of a tool called ArcGIS Quick Capture that is going to that enabled us to get petrol stations that are already existing to increase on our data source. Then after processing our data and visualizing everything in ArcGIS Pro, we uploaded it to a database that was connected later to the ArcGIS Online, where we made use of a variety of tools that enabled us to actually do real-time monitoring of this distribution. Let me move on to the solution prototype. Jemima can take up.
Thank you so much. Moving on to the solution prototype, we managed to collect data using Survey1 using OpenStreetMap query. This was done in ArcGIS Pro. We also collected data. We got points from Quick Capture, where we collected all the data, and also we got data for the Total stations. We also got data for the existing depots for Total, and also, yeah, basically that. And then we visualized the data in which we visualize in ArcGIS Online. Then moving on to the workflow. The workflow basically is about the distribution of fuel, which is about filling in fuel from that depots to the Total stations, and then also we'll be monitoring the movement of the commodities and also the drivers. This will be done in Workforce. This will be done by the use of Workforce and Survey 123. And then moving on to the final products. The final products are a web map and also a web map. Web maps, and then we also have a web app, and then we also design the dashboard to ensure effective monitoring of petroleum. And then basically the benefits of the solutions is to improve communication, and then also the other is to improve informed decisions and also effective and efficient distribution of petroleum through the products that we have designed. Then we are moving on to the demos, demonstrate how we did it. Designed a web map. This web map, basically we visualized data from ArcPro and we linked it to ArcGIS Online, whereby we brought in layers for the depots, layers for the fuel stations and the Uganda districts. For you to be able to know more information about the map, you click on a point, for example, Ginger terminal. It has some basic information about it, the name and its location and the coordinate system. And then also for the Total station, it also gives you basic details about it. Then moving on to another map. We also did an analysis. We did analysis for the area. We did analysis. First of all, we did planning routes, whereby we did planning routes from the depots to the total stations. This was based on the driving time taken for the drivers from the petrol stations to the depot, from the depots, to the total stations. We also did a find nearest analysis. This was based on finding the closest facilities. In this case, these are the total stations to the depots. This is illustrated here. So these are the layers that we use that were generated from the analysis. And then alternatively, we also created a web app. This app basically shows the direction from one point to another. In this case, the direction from the depots to the total stations around the country. So we incorporated in a widget, a direction widget. This widget, basically you click on, we made it in a way that you can easily search for the name or the brand of the area you want to get the distance for. For example, I would type in Ginger storage terminal, which is one of the depots, which is here. You can just select it. Then also another point, total agency. This gives you the direction here. This gives you the direction from Ginger storage terminal to total agency. This gives you the distance of 95 hours.
Maria and Jemima, please check on your audio. We seem to have lost you.
Jemima, Maria. Hello, Maria, Jemima. We can't hear you. Make sure your mic is on. Maria and Jemima.
I think we can. Maria Jemima, I'm not sure if you can hear us, but we lost you. We can't hear you. Let's try, give them a few seconds. If not, we can move on to the next. Maria Jemima. All right, Nicole, I guess we can move on to the next.
Yes. I apologize for that. Maria and Jemima, kindly get back to us once you resolve your issue. For the final presentation, we have Lee, who is going to take us through the automation workflow we did some time back. The automation is updating data from Google Sheets. Lee.
Thank you for that, Nicole. Thank you for being with us so far. We appreciate it. And we are grateful. Yeah, so for this, we've shown you first of all how to save time by gaining insights with as little effort as possible.
Sorry,
What if now you
Lee.
would not even need to get back into ArcGIS Online, but you could be able to write scripts that will be able to carry out the operations that you need to be carried out at an instance. By using Python, what you aim to do with these project is to enable collection of data, mainly from the commonly used Google Sheets, and uploading it into ArcGIS Online, and creating feature layers from it, as well as dashboards that you can be able to see what is happening on the ground. Yeah. So this solution was developed at the backdrop of the COVID epidemic. When it first hit, you remember how strained we were in terms of resources, because first of all, you're not ready. We had said it's a Chinese virus, and then it's at our doorstep. It's supposed to be just in Asia, and then here it is. So it caught us unaware. So we are having a situation whereby the same doctors who need to be dealing with this are also the same people who are supposed to be transmitting the data, saving it, and creating all the necessary infographics that will allow us, or rather will allow the Ministry of Health to coordinate efforts and plan response effectively. Yeah, so that was what we were looking at. But we realized that we could even be using it to deal with something such as earthquakes, fires, and looking forward, maybe even political issues as they are going to occur, or maybe they may occur, deal with it effectively. Yeah, so looking at our main objective, it was to automate dynamic earthquake data updates and processing and display from Google Sheets. And breaking down further to the specific objectives, we have converting Google Sheets to a CSV file and creating an online feature service. And then cleaning of the data to remove duplicates, null values, and erroneous information. Here, what I mean is that, okay, sometimes you may be in a hurry to fill the data. Some of the data collected may not have all the necessary information, and that may lead to wrong statistics, wrong information at the end of the day. So we also had to clean it before it is uploaded into the data frame for processing, and then updating the online feature layer with the new data. This application is also supposed to update dynamically, let's say once every day, once every 6 hours, based on your needs, and creating a dashboard displaying the real-time data. Yeah, so our concept was a script tool that fetches Google Sheet data and then creates a CSV file that now is used to create a feature layer, which then appends new incoming data and updates the feature layer, which is displayed on a dashboard. Our methodology was simple. I'm using the modules available in the ArcGIS platform and suite of tools. We extract data from the Google Sheets using a URL, and then import it into a data frame where the data is cleaned. Here we remove the duplicates, null, and excess values. And then we export the data frame to a CSV file. assign a time-based code, because imagine this is happening every day. So you need to be able to know when the report was created and in response to what situation, so that you can know which is the most current. And then log in into Attachees, upload the CSV file and set its attributes, publish the feature layer, and update the metadata if necessary. On the panel, you can see the video loading as I go down. This is written in Python. This is an interpreted language, and the tool we used here was Jupyter Notebook. So for each of the cells, you can see those are subsets of the code, each executing a given task. Yeah. And then in conclusion, this script allows one to ensure that the updating of large data sets to Attachees Online or Attachees Enterprise portals is done promptly and swiftly, thus allowing for quick response time, data security, and reduced chances of human error. What do I mean by this? Without having to intervene with the implementation, let's say, after you've created it, you can be able to not touch it again for the next 1 year. The chances of error that is caused by our actions are very, very low. Errors caused by lack of data, wrong data, also removed. Yeah, so I've opened the next page. This is a sample data set. You can see we are dealing with earthquakes. Yeah, something else that is really hard to predict. And now here we have a breakdown of the script. As I've said again, this is written in Python, so it is compatible with most all operating systems. You can host it on Windows, Linux, Mac, I believe, Mac, yeah, and it will be able to run without any issue. Yeah, so as the script executes, you can see the numbers changing. Sorry about that. I had to test so that I don't tell you it was working on my machine, and this is my machine. So yeah. So what is happening here is, first of all, we need to load the necessary dependencies and tools into the application. These are supported by Attachees, such as the Attachees feature layer collection, display by Python, the time function. This allows the data to be given a unique timestamp. And then FTP, in case you are connecting to an FTP server. Pandas is a data processing framework that allows you to deal with big data. And then the Attachees mapping tools and dates and time utilities and such. And then the data is read from Google Maps, yeah, and converted into a CSV. Sorry, let me go to that part. Yeah, you can read here. Then we extract the data from Google Sheets. That is what is going to be happening in the next sequence of cells. First of all, we make the data frame and drop some of the columns. This data that you see here is too rich. Fields such as location source, mag source, and status may not really affect our information, and it may lead to too much compute time. So we're able to drop some of the columns over there. And then after that has been done, you can see the columns are ready. And then the file is extracted. We drop the null values. This is where some of the lines are missing information, such as where it was happening, what time it was happening. And then again, we drop duplicates, yeah, from the data frame. Yeah. And then this produces a new CSV file. Sorry, this already exists. I'd run this again, so that's why it's causing this error. But yeah, and then it's happening because it already exists. And then we assign them the time-based variable, and we are able to see the data frame and all that it contains. Sorry. Then we log in into Attachees Online, and we upload the item as a CSV. We publish the feature layer. You can see it there. The feature layer has been created. Sorry. That is a CSV file, sorry. And now the feature layer has been created. If you want, you can be able to update the metadata. That was the first part. This is just creation of the feature layer and the initial CSV. But now we are able to, from this part, we're able to dynamically update it based on changes that occur in the data. You can see that, as well as drop any inconsistencies that we'd seen before. you can see the new map that has been created. Yeah, let me run all the cells. So effectively what has happened is the rest of the cells execute is that a new feature has been created on ArcGIS Online and its data has been updated, has been created. And then seconds later, because you're using a different data set, a different CSV file, we've been able to update the features that can be seen in that layer. For this, I'm going to transition back to Boniface so that he can show you the dashboard that came out of this. Boniface, hi.
Lee, or is it Boniface? We can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. So here is our dashboard that visualization takes place once the earthquake data has been updated and after cleaning and refinement. So when a new earthquake is detected, it will be recorded here as an extra earthquake from the 48 that are already there. So it will be added as an extra earthquake. We also have our dashboard showcasing our magnitude types for the earthquakes that have been recorded. So earthquakes of various magnitude types have been recorded. Then we have our legend that shows us the intensity or the magnitude intensity of the recorded earthquakes. Then we have our earthquake legend, let's say attribute table. We can link it, let's say, giving information on the earthquakes. Let's say, yeah, different information on the earthquake. Then we have our visual statistic that displays statistics on our earthquakes recorded. Okay, so thank you. I'll take you back to Lee to finish up.
Okay, thank you, Boniface, for that. I'm going to keep it short. So this script can be able to run, as I said earlier, on physical systems such as Windows, your machine, your Windows machine, your Linux machine, your Mac, but also it can be hosted on the cloud. This means that you don't suffer from issues such as power interruptions. Data compromises are much less, as well as availability 24/7 based on who your service provider is. So yeah, ArcGIS can be automated to deal with data promptly and efficiently. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Lee. That's it from our interns today. I hope you have enjoyed the presentations and you have learned a thing or two, and the session was interactive. I will give a minute or two for anyone who has a question. You can raise your hand or you can type it in the chat. Thank you also so much for everyone who has asked a question and given you feedback.